8 signs you may have histrionic personality disorder, HPD, understanding the traits, impact, and path to healing. In the world of mental health, personality disorders often carry a great deal of misunderstanding and stigma. One such condition is histrionic personality disorder, HPD, a complex and often misunderstood personality disorder that primarily centers around attention-seeking behavior, intense emotions, and a deep desire for validation and approval. While it's natural to want attention and emotional connection from others, people with HPD may take these needs to an extreme, often to the detriment of their relationships, emotional stability, and overall well-being. This post takes an in-depth look at 8 common signs of HPD and what they might look like in everyday life. It's important to remember that only a licensed mental health professional can diagnose personality disorders, but being informed is the first step toward understanding yourself or supporting someone else.
Number 1.
Constantly seeks attention from others. One of the hallmark features of HPD is a relentless need for attention. Individuals with HPD often feel uncomfortable or unfulfilled when they are not the center of attention. This need may manifest in both subtle and overt ways. For instance, at a party or social gathering, someone with HPD might go to great lengths to ensure all eyes are on them. By telling loud, dramatic stories, dressing in a very noticeable way, or steering conversations back to themselves. In personal relationships, this might look like a partner who constantly demands reassurance, starts arguments when not being acknowledged, or exaggerates situations just to gain sympathy or focus. The core of this behavior lies in a deep fear of being ignored or emotionally abandoned. Over time, this pattern can strain friendships and romantic relationships, especially if the other person begins to feel emotionally drained or manipulated. Exaggerated emotions in everyday situations. People with HPD often express emotions with intensity and theatricality, even when the situation doesn't call for it. A mild disappointment may result in tears and despair, while a minor compliment might be received with overwhelming gratitude and dramatic praise. This emotional reactivity isn't necessarily fake. Many individuals with HPD genuinely feel their emotions intensely. However, their ability to regulate those emotions may be impaired, leading to outbursts or inappropriate emotional responses. The result? Others may feel confused or overwhelmed, unsure of how to respond. Emotional exaggeration can also give the impression of insincerity, even when the person's feelings are real to them. This emotional intensity can burn bridges in personal and professional settings, leaving the individual feeling isolated. Ironically, the very thing they fear the most. 3. Easily influenced by people or trends. Another common trait of HPD is suggestibility, meaning that individuals are often easily influenced by others, whether it's a friend, romantic partner, celebrity, or social trend. Because people with HPD often seek approval, they may mold themselves to fit in or please those around them, even at the cost of their authentic identity. They might suddenly adopt a new fashion style, hobby, or political view simply because it's popular or someone close to them promotes it. This lack of inner stability can make it difficult for individuals with HPD to form a strong sense of self. Instead, their personality may seem fluid or inconsistent as they constantly adjust themselves to gain approval. While this may work temporarily, it often leads to identity confusion, dissatisfaction, and internal emptiness in the long term. Believes relationships are more intimate than they are. Those with HPD often misinterpret the depth or intimacy of relationships. They may see a casual acquaintance as a close friend, or view a mild flirtation as a serious romantic interest. This belief isn't always intentional. It stems from a deep longing to be loved and emotionally connected. However, this misperception can lead to misunderstandings, disappointment, and sometimes conflict when others don't reciprocate those feelings. In romantic relationships, this might look like falling in love too quickly, demanding commitment early on, or becoming upset when others don't respond with the same intensity. When a relationship ends or doesn't live up to expectations, individuals with HPD might feel devastated or even betrayed, believing the connection was far more significant than it actually was. 5. Rapidly shifting and shallow emotions. Another key sign of HPD is the instability and superficiality of emotions. While feelings may seem intense, they are often short-lived and subject to rapid change. A person with HPD might go from excitement to disappointment, affection to anger, or confidence to self-doubt within a matter of minutes. These emotional shifts can happen with little provocation and may not make sense to others observing the behavior. Moreover, their emotions often lack depth. What might look like genuine sorrow or joy can disappear almost as quickly as it appeared, giving the impression that the person is insincere or manipulative, though that's not always the case. This emotional volatility can make relationships unpredictable and difficult to maintain. Partners and friends may feel like they're walking on eggshells, unsure of which emotion will show up next. Number 6. Uses physical appearance to gain attention. People with HPD often put a great deal of energy into their appearance, using it as a tool to gain attention and validation. This doesn't necessarily mean vanity. It's more about using looks to fill an emotional void. This could involve dressing provocatively, wearing flashy or extravagant clothing, or constantly seeking compliments and feedback about their looks. Social media can amplify this behavior, with frequent selfies and curated content aimed at drawing praise. It's important to recognize that there's nothing wrong with enjoying fashion or self-expression. The key difference with HPD is the intent behind it, the use of appearance as a primary way to gain emotional security. When attention isn't received, or if they feel overlooked, it can trigger feelings of worthlessness or rejection. 7. Speaks dramatically but lacks detail. A person with HPD may often speak in dramatic, impressionistic language, using grand statements and emotional words, but providing very little substance or detail. For example, instead of saying, "I was nervous about the interview because I hadn't prepared," they might say, "It was the most stressful day of my life," without explaining why. This kind of speech can make conversations feel shallow or disjointed. Listeners may struggle to grasp the full picture, and the speaker might seem more interested in eliciting a reaction than communicating information. In relationships, this trait can lead to miscommunication or conflict, as partners may feel confused about what the individual is really trying to say or need. Part 8. Craves approval and validation constantly. Underneath many of the behaviors associated with HPD lies a deep yearning for approval. People with HPD often tie their self-worth to how others perceive them. Compliments and praise may feel essential, while criticism or indifference can feel like rejection. This need can show up in many forms: seeking reassurance, fishing for compliments, or becoming upset when not acknowledged. It can also drive people to engage in attention-seeking behavior that may seem out of place or even harmful. Unfortunately, the more one depends on external validation, the more unstable their self-esteem becomes. The highs are very high, but the lows can be emotionally devastating. This can create a vicious cycle. The more attention someone receives, the more they need to feel okay, and the more fragile their inner sense of self becomes when that attention isn't available. A deeper understanding, more than just drama. At a glance, histrionic personality disorder may look like excessive drama or a desire to be in the spotlight, but it goes much deeper than that. Individuals with HPD often struggle with intense emotional needs, a fragile sense of identity, and a longing to feel loved and valued. These behaviors aren't always manipulative or self-centered. They are coping mechanisms, often rooted in early childhood experiences or emotional neglect. Understanding HPD through a lens of compassion and curiosity, rather than judgment, is key. Can histrionic personality disorder be treated? Yes. Like many personality disorders, HPD can be challenging, but with the right support, healing is possible. Treatment often involves psychotherapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or psychodynamic therapy, to help individuals develop healthier ways to cope with emotional needs, improve self-awareness and emotional regulation, build a stable, authentic sense of identity, establish meaningful, balanced relationships. Medication may be used to treat co-occurring symptoms like anxiety or depression, but it's not typically the main course of treatment for HPD itself. Recognizing the signs of histrionic personality disorder in yourself or someone close to you can be the beginning of a transformative journey. If you see yourself in these traits, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human, and you deserve support, understanding, and healing. If you think you or someone you love may have HPD, consider reaching out to a licensed therapist who specializes in personality disorders. A proper diagnosis and personalized care can make all the difference. Mental health with Omoye.